got 19XX. Make sure y'all get the video a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe if y'all haven't already, bro. Make sure y'all go subscribe to my second channel also. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into this video. How's y'all Monday? I'm watching wrestling right now, so y'all gonna get this video pretty fast.
LA had Watts, New York had Brownsville, and Philly had the bottom. Not one neighborhood but a nickname for a cluster of adjacent poor black neighborhoods. In the year 2000, Pennsylvania suffered through a gun violence epidemic, a violence that the authorities and law enforcement were trying and failing to stem or stop. The year 1990 had seen 500 homicides committed in the city.
You know how dangerous your city gotta be, bro, to have a gun pandemic. That is fucking crazy. Won't catch me down
there was nearly 4 times the average rate across the U.S. And for the next 8 years, the number of people off within the city would stay above 400 every single year. Philly was home to the Black Mafia and the Junior Black Mafia, the K&A gang, the Philadelphia crime family, and even motorcycle gangs. A melting pot of people and groups, willing and able to do whatever it took to get to the top. By December 28, 2000, there had already been 310 killings in Philadelphia that year. This number will go up to 317 on this single day. Initially, due to the scale of the crime, the police suspected that it was a case of a turf war or gang violence, albeit a very extreme example of it. However, the core source of the issue was eventually discovered to be a lot more pedestrian than that. It turned out that one of the shooting victims had not long ago made a car swap deal. He owned a Dodge Intrepid that he had exchanged with another man for $300 in a Chevrolet Corsica. But the Corsica was a manual, or stick shift, which the victim was unfamiliar with, and he ended up wrecking the clutch. When he realized that the car was essentially now useless, or at the very least would need an expensive clutch replacement, he went back to the man who had traded the car with him. By this time, the Dodge had been swapped by the initial buyer to a second man, this time for a pistol. The victim asked for his car back and refused to replace the clutch on the Corsica. When his proposal was obviously rejected, he went home and came back.
Not gonna lie, bro. You doing some type of deal like that? Well, $300 is crazy to sell your car. But anyway, bro, you supposed to make sure all that shit straight before you even get a man the money. All sales are final.
The next day, with a spare set of keys to steal his Dodge.
That's crazy.
The seemingly low-stakes exchange would end up being the catalyst for the massacre that day, at least according to those involved. Armed and masked up, 3 men entered the crack house on 816 North Lex Street on the afternoon of 28th of December 2000. The gunman quickly rounded up 10 people in the house in the living room. After getting them to hand over whatever small amounts of cash they had on them, they were all made to lie down on the floor.
Damn.
Crucially, at this point, the mask slipped off one of the gunmen. Scared that they'd be identified and the prospect of retaliation or arrest, they made a decision. They shot them all. The gunman fled the house on foot and jumped into a getaway car and sped off. 6 men died at the scene while a 33-year-old woman was transported to a hospital, later dying there. The worst mass killing in Philadelphia history at the time had just taken place, and it would take a while for any clear answers to emerge. The victims ranged in the age from young as 15 up to 54.
Damn.
And 3 people in the house survived the shooting. Shortly after, authorities arrested 4 men for the crime. The initial feeling was that the case was likely drug or gang related, as a sergeant in the homicide division of the city police would be quoted saying, "There's information they were dealing crack out of the house and in the area."
Of course.
Sakan Yu, Jamel Lewis, Ezekiel Thomas, Keontae Parent were all taken into custody and charged with multiple counts of murder and other charges, such as robbery and weapon charges. They were arrested based on eyewitness accounts from a friend of one of the victims and had been facing the death penalty if they ended up convicted. Police claimed that some of the men had confessed, a claim that was denied by their family and friends. However, despite all four of them being taken into custody and held in jail for a year and a half. All the charges against them ended up being dropped due to lack of evidence. The case collapsed shortly before the trial began, despite one prosecutor telling the judge that they were willing to try the case until hell freezes over. Given that all four of them were entirely innocent in the whole affair, they later sued for their wrongful arrest and lengthy incarceration, receiving a payout of $1.9 million. The city as a whole, especially the local community, felt that
That's
law
crazy.
enforcement and the prosecutors had made a snap decision under pressure to get anyone on the hook for the crime. This would put the authorities back to square one when it came to finding the culprits, making any progress towards getting some form of closure for the families and loved ones of the multiple victims. So who did it? It would be almost 2 years after the shooting in 2002 when the police would arrest a second set of four men on suspicion of septuple homicide. This time, two of the men, Sheehan Black and Bruce Vaney, also known as Snoop, pled guilty and admitted their roles in the crime. They were aged 20 and 26 at the time. Dawood and Khalid Faruqi, aged 26 and 27 at the time of their arrest, pled not guilty. The confession that Black initially provided to the police was dismissed as being fabricated before they later realized that he was telling the truth. Shaheen Black was the man who had made the initial car deal with Porter, one of the victims, handing over $300 in a Chevrolet for the Dodge. Shaheen had then swapped the Dodge with Dawood Faruqi for a pistol. The Porter returned after blowing out the clutch and tried to go back on the deal.
So
Black
this dumb ass nigga, right? You get a car, they got a clutch. You should have known what the fuck. You should have known if the car was like that before you even bought the motherfucker. Then you decided to fuck it up. Not being taught how to do it. One, crazy. I don't know how to do it either, but I'm not gonna just buy no car and not see the inside. Two, switch that out for a gun. This nigga switched a car out for a gun. It don't get much dumber than that, y'all.
told him that he had already swapped it for the gun, and Dawood refused to give it back. Once Porter came back the next day and stole the car, Dawood and Shaheen Black recruited Dawood's brother, Khalid, to help them and their friend Bruce Vaney drive them across the Lake Street where they knew Porter hung out. Shaheen Black received multiple life sentences, as did the Faruqi brothers. All three of them are currently still incarcerated, with 7 life sentences apiece, and none of them eligible for parole. Bruce Vaney was found to have been the driver in the case and received a sentence of 15 to 30 years for his
Damn.
part, secured by giving testimony against the other co-accused. He was paroled in March of 2019. The mother of one of the victims, Calvin Helton, spoke outside of the court on the subject of finally seeing the white men convicted of the horror that day.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. All
Feel
over,
free to
mind you, that was all over a car, no drugs, right? So something so simple could turn into something so big. You feel me? So who's in the wrong? The dude that bought the car, the dude, you know what I'm saying, who did the crime, you know, and killed them 7 people. You know what I'm saying? It's his fault. You feel me? You should have known what you were doing, bro. You should have. This some people don't know how to handle business. As a grown person, it's kind of crazy and sad, honestly. That 7 people, innocent people, had to lose their life. They say that it was a drug, you know what I'm saying? But we got the story right here, bro. Y'all doing deals, make sure y'all shit straight. Y'all handle y'all business, you know what I'm saying? You buying something for somebody, make sure y'all count them, you know what I'm saying? They give you money, you count the money in front of them, or you feel me? Y'all ain't exchanging anything, you know what I'm saying? Same thing, you know what I'm saying? On the opposite side, you make sure everything's straight and everything, you feel me? No matter if it take 20 minutes, 20 minutes. I always, handle business first. You know, make sure your shit right. Or you won't get finessed over or so and so. I always spend 20 minutes, you know what I'm saying, expecting some shit you finna buy for somebody. You know what I'm saying? That 20 minutes or more. Shit, depending on how much money it is. You feel me? That being said, see y'all when I see y'all. Love y'all. Stay safe, stay dangerous, stay out the way. Let's ride, man. Make sure I give my second channel love in the description down below also, man. We will be posting over that probably tomorrow. So make sure you give it a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. See y'all when I see y'all. I love y'all. Let's ride, nigga.